Hi guys, welcome back to Blockforge. In this channel, our goal is to bridge the gap between blockchain developers and Web3 generally. Okay, we found out that there is not much project out there, and there is not much concept documentation, much lessons, much teachings out there as touching blockchain development to hand us the skills and the understanding and the critical thinking we need to be able to navigate the world of Web3 and build critical and very mighty projects. Okay, we understand that this is a very huge gap, and we are here to fill this gap for you. So we are here to create and build projects that you can use and show up on your portfolio, okay, that you can use and get a grasp, okay, to understand what it's like to build real world projects in Web3. And the tools we'll be using and focusing mainly is Rust and Move programming language. As we progress, we will integrate AI technology into our project, and so we want to start from the very basics of Rust programming language to understand the core concept of Rust, then transit into understanding Move language, and then build projects. Okay, we build mind-blowing projects in this channel, and it will really enhance you and help you understand what it's like to build projects. And so if you're a beginner and advanced intermediate and expert developer in Web3, I implore you to stick around with us in this channel. It will be an amazing journey. Okay, so we are starting from the basic to build real developers. Okay, from the ground up, that's our goal. From the ground up, we build real developers that will actually innovate the world of the blockchain together and make blockchain development a real and amazing stuff. Okay, that's our goal in this channel. And if that sounds interesting to you, do well to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Okay, you'll be getting notification that we drop videos every week, and do well to follow suit. Okay, it will be an amazing journey. Having said that, guys, let's dive into the video. And so in today's video, what we want to talk about specifically is actually a challenge game. We want to build a simple project. Okay, this project is not complex, it's not really a difficult project. I know in our last section what we did was to actually set up our environment and install Rust and run our first Hello World program using the Rust compile, and also talked about cargo.run, but we didn't run cargo. We didn't run cargo in our terminal in the last section, and we will do that in this section. Okay, having said that, guys, stick tuned in this video. Okay, this video, the whole aim of this challenge is to just give you a grasp of what it looks like. Believe me, it's not something you should be scared about, or you should feel frightened about, or you should feel intimidated. Okay, this concept you will see today, we've not talked about it, and so I just want to juggle your mind for you to just feel what it's like, and I will try as much as possible to break each and every step as we go along the way. And I will still not go deep into the syntax because we still discuss them in the subsequent videos that we'll be dropping. So as much as possible, stick tuned, and I implore you to still make sure that you follow suit and code along. Okay, that's how you can get the best out of this section, and that's how you can get the best out of programming in general. Okay, so as much as possible, make sure that you actually follow and type along with us. But just a side note, our live section will be coming up this Sunday, and we will just be talking about if Rust is something a developer should start first, or the normal concept of starting another language before moving to Rust. So we'll be talking about that in our live section on Sunday, and also talk about some other development stuff in blockchain development, and it will just be an amazing moment. So I'll employ you to try as much as possible to also be there, and we will do it here in this um channel. We host the live session in this channel, and it will be interactive, and I will employ you to actually invite friends. Let's talk about web, let's talk about blockchain development, ask your questions, and I will still ask my questions to you guys, and we just interact and have fun together. It will not be a long um section. It will just be an hour or thereabout. We talk about a few things and we are done. Okay, having said that guys, see you guys on Sunday. This video, what we are going to do today is to talk about a challenge. That's the project we are going to build. There is nothing spooky about this project than just to do it with me. Okay, so in my last section I told us that i will want to create I will want to create a project that will have every project that I will be doing, I will be using in this section. Okay, so what I will do, I'm in my terminal now. I'll just cd into the project, the name of my project, which is project, and this is it. So from here I will create a new project. So creating a new project, I will use cargo to create this project. Okay, so the same way you use mkdir which is mkdir and the name of the project to create a new folder, that's the same way you use cargo cargo new. This is a convention, naming convention, then the name of the folder. So I will call it guess, because what we are going to build is a guess game. Okay, where you can guess a game, or let's assume that your friend, you want to play a game with your friend. Okay, and you tell your friend, please think about a number, actually a random number, think about a random number, and I'll try as much as possible to guess the number, and if I get it correctly, tell me that I got it correctly. If I didn't get it, if I'm close or if I'm too far from it, tell me that I'm too far from it. Do you understand? That's basically, we want to just build a simple guessing game project. That's it. And so as much as possible, code along with me. And as I said previously in the previous video, if by any means you were stuck somewhere as touching setting up this your environment for this course, please do well to reach out to me. Okay, as much as possible, do well to reach out to me. I will try as much as possible to clarify you, if it means creating a video or creating just hosting a one-on-one session with you to make sure I clarify you on how to go through it. I will. Okay, or you can drop a comment in the comment section, or as much as possible reach out to me and I will respond to you. Okay, having said that guys, so this is the name of my project, underscore guessing idea. I'll just call it something random, guessing idea. I'll just call it this, just what I want to call it, and cargo will create it for me. Is done creating this project for me. So what I will do is to cd changing the directory into this directory I've created. Okay, idea into this directory I've created, and I will now code dot to open my visual studio code. I want to open this project. Okay, this folder, I want to open this folder inside Visual Studio Code, so that we can be able to start our coding journey. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And so if at any point you get stuck, please don't hesitate, I beg you, don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, we are trying to build a community here, and I will also want to say that the code for the previous lesson and this lesson will be in the GitHub, and I will drop the link in the description below in case you want to clone it and maybe have a feel of it, maybe, and compare it with your code. Okay, and compare it to your code. You can go ahead and do that, but as much as possible I will employ you to code along with me. Okay, just code along with me. It will be an amazing journey together, I promise you that. So this is what I want to do. I'll drag this up. think, yeah, I'll write this up. So last time, this is what this is how our project was. So this is cargo.turmoil, and that has different dependencies. This is cargo.turmoil. This is the package I explained last time, and this is the dependency I explained last. So if you not watch the video, please do well to watch the video, and I explained it in details, guys. So do well to watch the video. And this is the source file, and I will try as much as possible to explain this, which we will still explain in the comment section. Okay, guys. So what we do in this section now is to run our hello world. Okay, and first thing we have to do is to actually open our terminal. So it's either you do it on your terminal or you do it in your IDE terminal. Okay, so I want to do it in my IDE terminal. I will just press Control backtick for it to open my terminal, and I will run it here. Okay, so I press Control backtick for it to open my terminal, and on my IDE actually. So the IDE I'm using is Visual Studio Code. You can actually use any IDE of your choice that is comfortable for you to use. So having opened this, what you want to run now is cargo build. So you want cargo to be able to build this project. Okay, cargo build. So the cargo is building this project. So if you're running cargo for the first time, this, if you notice, this cargo.log and target showed up before this cargo build started running. Okay, so but if you're running cargo build for the first time, it will have to run and come and generate this target and this cargo log for you. Okay, that's simply what it is. And if you're running for the second time, it will just, this thing just show up. You don't need to do this view. So I'm doing it so that you can actually see this, so I just can really generate this thing for you so that we can be on the same page. Okay, having said that, now yours will not just be like this if you're doing it for the first time. Okay, it will not be like this. Okay, if you're doing it for the first time, you have to run through. So what does this log means? Okay, so this log, what it does generally is it records the exact version that your dependencies use. Okay, so here in cargo.turmoil is where we store our dependencies. Okay, this is where our dependencies are being stored. Okay, and I mentioned earlier that dependencies are just the tools that um our code will depend on. Okay, if you want them to work in a certain way, that's clear. I mentioned it in our last video. I can go back to that video and watch it and understand it very well. So this cargo.log, what it does is that it stores the version of our dependencies. And so why does it do that? Stability and reproductivity. Okay, reproductivity, I'm sorry for that. Reproductivity, in the sense that reproductivity is the ability for someone else to use my code. Okay, so you'll be taking this code from the GitHub repo. If you're taking this code from the GitHub repo, the version that I use here, GitHub, this cargo.log will lock that version here, and so you still use it in your own device. So that's the beauty of using this cargo.log. And also it's for stability. It's, you don't need to actually now bother about unexpected update of a version, or the update of a dependency, sorry. Okay, in our case now, versions of the dependency. Okay, you don't bother about it. So it's when you intentionally want to update your version, you can update it. But since this is locked, since your dependencies are locked here, you shouldn't worry about whether it's going well or it's not going well. At the end of the day, what really happens is that the version you use here will be locked here, and so no matter how many updates have gone on that dependency, it will still be using this that was locked. Does that make sense? Actually it does. It should actually make sense. And so if you're talking about this target, what target does is that it actually compile our code, okay, our file. Okay, that's it compiles the binaries and also build artifacts. Okay, that's basically what it does. That's what it compile about. That's just, it is just what it does. That is actually nothing else that it does. Okay, so this is our file. This is the file we built. And now if you write cargo run, it will now pop up our hello world. This is the hello world. Okay, this is basically, there is nothing else to understand here apart from what I just said. So having established that, let's go back to our main.source. So I went back to our main.source to be able to access. I went back to source to be able to access main.source, and so this is what our code looks like. Okay, I'll just delete this. So remember, what we want to do in this video is to be able to write a guessing game where our program can be able to guess a random game for us. One, it will guess a random game for us and prompt us to impute the guess. We should guess the game, the number. Okay, it will generate a random game and require that we guess the game. So if you get the game the number correctly, it will pop up that you win, or it was too high, or it was too low. Just something to show you that okay, maybe you won or you didn't win. Okay, that's what this guessing game is all about. And so what we want to do first is to be able follow suit. Okay, what we want to do first now is to be able to get users input. Okay, we want to make sure that the user can be able to input a number, his guess or her guess. Okay, and for the program to be able to process the number and store it somewhere. Okay, that's what you want to do here. So first thing we need to do as this is to import a module from Rust standard library. So what is the naming convention for import? We use the use syntax is what we use the use syntax is what we use to import stuffs. Okay, both dependencies and standard libraries, that's what we use. This the use the same way. Maybe if you're coming from the web development world, you must have getting used to import in React and Next.js and JavaScript. So in this our case, Rust uses use to import external libraries and external stuff. And so that's what this use here means. That's what it does. There is nothing else. And the naming convention for standard libraries is this std. Okay, and what do you want to import? You want to import io. And what does this io mean? It means import, input and output. Okay, input and output. And you might be asking, what does this double colon stuff means? What is he doing? Why is he there? What is this thing doing? Okay, so now this std, this raw standard library is a library. Okay, why this io is a module inside the library? Think about it as a nested component. So you can think about it as let's say a which example will I use now? Okay, you can think about it as a water can that has water inside. So it might not give you the real description, but it can paint the picture. Okay, so the water is nested inside the can. So you can say that nested is something that is inside something. Basically that's what it is. So this is a module that is nested inside of this. Okay, and so for us to access this input and output, we need to use this thing. We need to call the library where it is nested before accessing it. So this dot what it helps us is, it helps us to access this input and output. And so what does this input and output does for us? Okay, it helps us pay close attention. Okay, it helps us to be able to read information, to read inputs, inputs, to read write-ups from the keyboard. Okay, it helps us to read information from the keyboard and display it as an output in the console. Okay, that's what it does. It helps us, it gives you the access to write, to input and output it on the console. That's basically what it does. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now going back, we we need to tell our audience that this is actually what's it called, is a guessing game. So assuming I don't know that this is a guessing game, what I need a way to know that what I want to do is a guessing game. Okay, to call the attention of the audience or some anybody that that wants to play this game, that this is a guessing game. So this is it. And so if you come to this section, if it's like going to a football section, or it's just kind of a logo, an identifier to tell you what this whole thing you want to encounter is all about, what is all about, what it is and what is not. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, that's it. And now the next thing we want to do is to write print ln. And also what you want to achieve here is to um, um, prompt the user to input a guess. Okay, please input a guess. So you want the user to input a guess and simple. So now what this thing means, what does this mean? As I said in my previous video, in introduction, I told you that this thing is a micro. It's calling a micro to print this in the on the screen. So that's basically what this thing does. Okay, that's basically what this thing does. So the next thing we do is to just invoke this module that we called into this scope by using this IO double. Follow along. I will explain this code. Let me just I will explain this code. std in, then dot read underscore line is okay. So now we have created this. So this returns something. Okay, it returns a result. So before we go to what it returns, we need to create an empty string. Okay, follow me along. I will explain this, though we still talk about it in detail in the coming section. Okay, so this is this. So let me just comment this out and explain what this is. Okay, so now pay close attention, guys. This is let, and let is a variable. Don't worry, we talk about it in detail in the coming video. Okay, now this is let. What does it do? It helps us to name a variable. Okay, to have a variable and to store a value. Okay, now let by default in Rust is immutable. That means you can't change it at any point. Okay, it's immutable. And since it is immutable, we cannot change it. So you cannot try to add something, maybe try to change what this thing. Let me give an illustration. Let me just write a simple code here for us. So let's say that let's for equal to the dot to string. So now this, so let's print ln, print ln, okay, and we want to say this is immutable. I don't think I spelled this well, and we call the for. So now pay close attention, guys. Pay close attention, guys. So this is it. What I'll do is just to comment this out. So please pay close attention, guys. Now this is actually a variable that has this ring bar. Don't worry about this syntax. We explain in detail in the coming video. Okay, does that make sense? Just follow suit. So what I want us to understand here is that variables by default are immutable. You can't really change the value. That's what I want us to get from this simple line of code. Okay, that's what I want us to understand from this simple line of code. A variable by default are immutable. You can't change the value. Okay, let me put a placeholder here. You can't change the value. Okay, so that's what I want you to get from this simple line of code. So now if you print this, okay, let's do cargo.run. If you print this, it will print comfortably. Okay, it will print comfortably. Say this is immutable bar. Okay, it's immutable. You can't change this value like this. So by default, if you try to change this value, it will throw an error without adding this mute. So let's do something. For dot push. So we are trying to add underscore string. We are trying to add a value, this immutable bar. We are trying to add a value another. Okay, we are trying to add something to this. Okay, so let's see if it will print out. Already it's throwing an error. So it says you cannot mutate immutable variable. Okay, this is an immutable variable, and so if you try to run this, it will throw an error that this can. In fact, we are already here. Let's just do this. Let's do this. Let me show us how this thing works. So this is it. Still throwing an error. So this is what will happen. Just wait for it. It's still loading. And yeah, let me just increase this for us. So it's too much. Yeah, I hope you can see it. Okay, I hope you can see it clearly. So now this is saying that you need to add this mute for us to change the value, for us to change this value. Okay, we need to add this mute for us to change this value. So by default, I'm going to press Ctrl B to close that tab. By default, this cannot change. So I'm saying that this mute is this is actually variables are actually by default immutable. Okay, you can't change the value unless you add this mute. Give them access to be changed, for their value to be changed, and this is one of the things that Ross use and actually have strength, like something like that. So now guys, this thing printed this, so showing you that you can now change the value because you added this. So I'm trying to help us to understand what mutability, though we talk about it in the comment section, but I need us to understand it here so that if you're talking it, then it will make a kind of sense. Maybe I will not be more detailed in other ones, but let me just be detailed in this one. Maybe I'll be detailed in other one. So but now this is guess. So we are trying to make this guess mutable. We are trying to be able to change the value that will be stored in this guess. Okay, the same way we are able to add and change the value that was stored here using this mute. Does that make sense? Okay, now let me just clear up this code. Okay, and so now this piece of code by the right, what does it mean? What is it saying? What does it not saying? What does it mean? So this is a string. Okay, it's a string type in Rust. It's a type in Rust. okay, that calls an associated function. So you can be looking at this code and looking at this code as if they are the same. They look alike actually, but they are not the same. This is calling a module, and this is calling a function that is associated to this string. So imagine it as this function is inside this string somewhere, and you want to call this function. And on a normal, we talk about function in the coming video, and you understand that to call a function, this is the naming convention. Like, let's say you want to call this main, this naming convention to call a function, this is how you call it. And so you're trying to call an associated function from this string. Okay, so what we are telling this is that this is actually creating a new string for us, and this new string is an empty new string. Okay, and so what this thing is trying to say is that we are trying to tell this that you are trying to tell these guys that you will house an empty string here, and this empty string, you will be able to add it something, delete something from it, and just be dynamic about the content inside of this string because of the mute we added here. So if you remove this mute, what this we do only is to just be an empty string. You cannot add or remove any value in it. Does that make sense? And so this string just is a UTF-8 encoded growable string. Okay, you can store value, store text in it, and all those amazing stuff. We talk about it in a subsequent video. Okay, so now let's uncomment this line of code. So let's finish up this write up, and we will still explain what this is. So arrow referencing mute guess. Okay, so dot expect this could not read. So I know why I'm spending my time to be able to explain this thing detail by detail, so that we will understand it. Okay, now what does this do? What does this do? What is this piece of code doing? So I want to give an analogy for you to understand this. So imagine this is a module, okay, and this module is calling an associated function. This module is calling an associated function. Remember that this is an associated function to this. So you can say that this and this are doing the same thing. Hence, this is calling an associated function. This is calling an associated function. Does it make sense? And this is a method in this associated function. And this method returns something to check whether what is running, the action is taking, if it works or not. So the analogy I want to give us for us to understand what this thing is doing is simple. So imagine this as a tool, something that provides a tool. Let me give a perfect example. So imagine that you want to wash your car, or you want to water your garden, or you want to take your bath, and you want to do something with water. Okay, just imagine that. And now you have your bucket of water. So imagine that your bucket of water is a container, okay, and your bucket of water is empty now. And imagine that your faucet that you turn on, the pipe or the hose that you use to turn in water into this container, into this bucket, into this bucket here, is this that provide it. And so what this does is it provides the tools for an action to be taken. And so both the water, the faucet you want to turn on, and maybe the hose is the tools that will give you access to putting water into this container, into your bucket. And so the process of putting water into your container is what this thing does. So this provides the tools for this to read the user's input and to store it. Okay, so what this piece of code does is that it provides provides the tools for the user, for the computer to read a particular input, and this read line is what takes the action of reading. This provides the tools necessary for it to read the content, and this takes the action of reading. And so in our case, in our analogy now, we say that the process of putting water in taking the action of putting water inside, or taking down your hose to channel the water into your bucket, is read underscore line. Okay, I hope this analogy makes sense. And now you might not ask, what is this mute ampersand mute means? So we talk about reference in the subsequent video. This is what we call a reference. Okay, we are calling this a reference. Okay, we are calling this a reference. And so what does it mean? It means that we don't want to claim ownership of this. We don't want to say that we are the one that owns. So we are borrowing this guess to just use it. Okay, so imagine that the bucket you use to fetch water is not your own. You went and borrow it. After using it, you still keep it, but you're not claiming ownership of this bucket. So that's what this code is saying. So we want to borrow. We are borrowing this guess. Remember, this guess, you can change it. You can add value to it. It's empty. Adding this mute will help you add value, delete, and do any stuff you want to do with it. Does it make sense? And so now, what you want to do is to make sure that this actually, this line of code, this dot read underscore line, can be able to read the input of the particular player. Okay, be able to read the input and store the input in this guess. And so we are not claiming an ownership of this. We are just trying to store something and let the guess be. We explain what mutation is in the subsequent video. Okay, so this method here, this is a method. Okay, this method here returns a result. So as I said before, this result checks whether the action we took here by reading this thing was successful. Was there any error? Was it pipe leaking? Was the water not rushing well? Was it rushing well? If the water was rushing well, it will go ahead and print successful. Okay, you're fine. But if the water was not rushing well, it will print out an error to it. So it returns a result, and the result has two variants, okay and error. Okay, instead of using the result here, we replace it with .expect. So if you are expecting for this to be successful, okay, if you are expecting for it to, if it's successful, it will unwrap the okay. Hence, we'll be able to print the stored value. But if there is an error here and there, it will print out that this could not read, okay, or anything you input here. This can be anything actually. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So what we want to do now is to simply print our stored value. So what do you want to print here? Is guess. So just do this is your guess value. Okay, so as I mentioned at the previous video, this is just a placeholder that holds the value of our products. So just show the value of our product. So this is it. So now this, if you run this piece of code, it will prompt us to input a number, and if you input a number, it will store the number for us. That's simply what we wanted to achieve. We said, welcome to guessing game. Please input a guess, input a guess, a number guess, a guess number, anything you input there, you wrote there. So this is, I'll just input 6, and this is your guess value 6. So this is what we wanted to achieve in this section. So in what is the next step for us to do is we want our computer to be able to generate, okay, a random number for us. And this, in our case, we want it to generate a random number from within 1 to 10, or 1 to 100, or 1 to 50, or 1 to 200, just any random number. Okay, that's what we want to achieve now. We want it to generate a random number for us. And how do we do that? For we to do that, what we need to do is to actually, we have to install an external library, and this is where Rust cargo actually plays a very similar role. Remember in our previous video, I told us that Rust C that we used before cannot really do much when it comes to dependency. We cannot actually import external dependency, and that's where cargo plays a very big role. Okay, so what we do, I'll just press Ctrl B to open the tab for us. We go to cargo.toml. So we want to install an external dependency. How do we install that? We just write run, okay, run, and the version of the dependency. Okay, so in my case, I just want to write this 3.14. And so if you want to update this dependency, what you have to do is just to write cargo dot, okay, cargo cargo.update will update this dependency for you. As simple as that. You don't need to stress yourself. Just update this dependency for you, and you're good to go. Okay, since you have written this dependency, you also have to write cargo build to be able to build this dependency for you. Let me be able to on my internet connection, so that I hope this cargo build. So what this will do is to build our dependency for us, so that we can be able to run this perfectly fine. So I'm trying to open our dependency so that we can see what we're doing here. Okay, so I'm waiting for my internet connection to come up. So while you wait for it to come up, so this lock, what this lock will do is just to lock up this version. Okay, and that's, if it locks it up, if you're using it, it will help keep your project stable and not actually be running into updating issues. Okay, that's basically it. So while you wait for this to run, and I hope you're running it yourself too, what we need to do is just simply invoke this external library in our scope, okay, that we are using. That's what we need to do as we wait for it to finish the whole process of installation and the whole process of downloading the library and doing all this blah 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 stuff. Hope I'll give it time for it to do that. So what you have to do is just to use the use statement used to import. Now what you use to do is to import external files from Rust. So, and the command we need to write is rand dot range. And so if you notice, this is actually quite different from this. This is quite different from this. Okay, if you notice, this is different from this. Why? This is standard library. This is an external this is a module in a standard library. This is an external library, and you can find these libraries if you go to crit.io. That's where the hub of Rust libraries are. That's where developers produce, trying to use the word libraries. Actually, that's basically what it does. So my this my code that finished really installing, and unused import. Okay, so we've not used this import. So what we need to do is to as I've done it, let me off back my internet connection. So what we need to do in this case is to use this range, and what this range is doing is that this is a library, and this is a module in the library. Okay, this is a module in the library, and this is range. So we explain this thing explicitly in this video. So now what is the conversion? So now we remember we want to generate a random number, so we just write this: let secret underscore number, secret number, equal to, okay, so follow along, run dot dot thread bracket dot run, okay, gen thread 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 underscore origin dot gen underscore range underscore range, and we put 1 to maybe 100. So and we try as much as possible to print ln and just say this is a secret so now it's saying argument, but argument is supplied. So now this is what this does. Okay, this is what this does. 1 to 100, see. So this is what this does. Okay, close this tab. What was the function of this? What is this thing doing? What is this thing doing? So I didn't call this function secret number and a placeholder. Oh yeah, this is it. So now let's explain this very well. Okay, this is actually something familiar with this syntax. So what this is doing is that this range, okay, is actually this thread range is an associated function. Is an associated function to this ran. Okay, and this gen underscore range is a method in thread underscore range. And so what this range is doing is that it's providing the tool by which this gen underscore range will take an action, and the action it will take is to generate any random number. Okay, this is providing the generator itself, and this is taking the action of generating the number we want for us. Do you understand? The analogy I gave last was the analogy of further. So let's give another analogy of a whiteboard. Okay, we can say that you provided a pen for somebody to write something, and the process that provide the tool is you're providing a tool, okay, which is the pen, And now the act of writing something on the whiteboard, on the board, is now you generating a number. I'm trying to give an analogy for you to understand what this thing does, okay, in just a very simple terms. Okay, this is a thread and it generates locally, okay, but in the simple term, this is what this does, okay, for you to understand it perfectly well. And the number that is being generated will be stored in this secret underscore number. So let's run it guys, guys. So I just do ara.build. So what is it saying? What is it saying? Welcome.guess. Let me put this up a bit so that I'll be seeing what is happening here. Okay, so what we do is to just click cargo run again and click enter, and it generated a secret number for us, okay. And so I didn't allow this to finish installing, and I offed my device, my internet connection, that's why. So you say I should guess a number. So if I guess any number, we've not actually done anything, you should just say this is value you guess. And so as I was saying earlier, what we want to do next is to actually be able to compare. Okay, we want to compare from what the player gets and what our program recorded, to know whether they are the same. If they're the same, you should print something. If it's not, just tell you something, maybe something for you to feel good and not to feel bad that you wasted your time. Okay, that's what we want to achieve here. So first thing, what you need to do is to actually install a standard library from ROS. If you want to install a module from ROS standard library, so use the use statement std, which is the ROS standard library, and this command line to get a module from ROS standard library. And the module you want to get is mp, and also you want to get the ordering from there also. So we explain what this thing is in just a few minutes. Okay, so what you want to do is just to compare. Okay, there is no big deal here. You want to do is to compare. So yeah, let me just off my device data again. I just want to stop this my data from running, my internet connection from running. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so now remember we've imported this in our scope, this compare. So what this is comparing the product, and also the ordering is a method. The ordering is what the compare returns, and this ordering has three variants, okay, which we still let's write it. What we will do is to write this piece of code match. Please follow along, very closely. Let me off my data internet connection. So okay, so what we do is to write match and invoke what we imported in this scope. And what this compare do is it compares two values. So you just write guess. Guess is the first value. You want to compare it with the actual number generated by our program, which is stored inside of this secret, underscore number. So but this compare, this dot cmp returns um a an ordering enum. The same way this dot read underline returns an enum of result which contains OK and error. Okay, so this is the convention of writing ordering dot greater call print ln, not to print ln too big, right? So now what you want to do is just to put a comment. Remember, you don't put a semicolon like this. If you take a semicolon, you run into an error. The semicolon, you're telling it, like, it's like an English sentence where you're just putting full stop. Okay, we don't want that. You're not done yet. Just put comma to continue ordering. So this is great. We have greater, less, and equal, and they are the variants of this ordering. The same way the result, the OK and error, are the variants of the result enum. Okay, let's continue ordering. So what this ordering is doing is to compare. So when it compares this to this, it will not give us a particular outcome. Okay, whether it's greater, whether it's less. Let me first just try to less. Whether it's less, only one can go actually. Whether it's less, too small, or greater, actually, anyone can go. Print ln too big, and put comma. So ordering equal. So remember, I told us what to install in our first video to be able to help you walk through both completing code and stuff, which is the Rust analyzer. I hope you did install that. So this is it. Print ln. We've actually spent a lot of time in this, and it's okay, good, so that I can explain this in details. So now this is what this thing does. Okay, I'll explain this for us. So now this is an ordering, and is from this command line. So it's what this CMP returns. So it compares this and this and returns one of this. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So now this is actually a number. Okay, is a number, and remember, this is stored, is a number that was generated, and is a stored number. So now we are referencing that variable, this, and if you run this command, we actually run into an error. It says that CMP self order self ordering blah 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 blah. This is where the error is. It's saying that found reference integer, found expected reference is a string. So now this guess is a string. So what we want to do is to convert this guess to a number. Okay, that's what we want to do, to convert this guess to a number. So how do we do that? So we go over here. So we just go over here and say let guess. I will write it on the name, just write it here. Okay. Let guess. Okay, let's guess. Let me give it u to equal to guess dot string dot as dot expect. This failed to convert. So this now, you see this error have actually left. So what this is doing is that it's converting this guess into a number. But we've already created a guess before, and why is this allowing us to create another guess, since in Rust the each variable has a unique name? Why? So there is something called shadowing in Rust. And so what I want you to get out of shadowing, okay, we explain it detailedly in the coming videos. So what shadow does, what word did I use? What it actually implements in a nutshell, or what we understand in a nutshell, is that shadowing helps us to reuse this guess variable, okay, without you actually writing two unique variable names. Okay, it helps us to rewrite this. And so in general, what you want to actually get out of this is that in the future we'll cover this. And what I want you to know is that when you want to convert a value, okay, from one type to another, we use this shadowing. Okay, so we want to convert this guess from this string, because you know that this is storing this in a string. Okay, and now this was actually throwing an error that number and string cannot compare to. Okay, now we want to convert this guess into a string. So shadowing helps you to actually convert a type from one convert a value from one string, from one type to another type. Okay, and so that's what we're doing here, and it helps you shadow. Instead of writing another name, you just shadow it. This is will be where it is, and you're just shadowing to convert it from the type to another type. And what is this doing? This is actually the original guess that is here. This is the original guess, and what it does is that we are trying to trim. We must trim the string first before we can be able to convert it. Okay, so immediately you impute a value. Immediately impute a value here. So immediately input a value here. If you press your enter key, um your windows automatically generates a space for you, generate an empty space for you. And so this stream, what it helps to do is just to actually clear those spaces. Okay, so that you can be able to convert this only. And of course, if you have maybe a longer string like this, maybe I'm coming, I mean, it can't really convert actually. It can't really convert. It will not convert actually. Okay, it will not convert. So I hope that makes sense. And so what this pass does is that is actually um converting this to a number, an integer. Okay, and this, as we expected, returns a result that check whether this thing really converted, or if it converted it will show successful. It will just print out this. If it doesn't convert, it will throw an error, this failed to convert. And so what does this match does? I didn't explain it. So let me use a very better scenario. So imagine that you're comparing a number 50 with 38. Okay, so you compare this with this. What match does is that your result, okay, and start going through. You just um what match is, in a nutshell, is an arm and has patterns, different patterns. Okay, now it takes your result. So since this guess is comparing to this, and the output might be this greater than. Okay, what this will come out with that the ordering is greater. Okay, so this match will take the ordering that is greater. Okay, it will take it and go through this pattern one after the other to check which of the values match each other. So if it takes it greater and go through this, it doesn't match, it will now go to the next one, and if it matches, it will print out the value. If it doesn't match, let's assume that what this, after comparing, what it come in conclusion is that you actually, it was equal to, it was the same thing, it was the same guess and the same random number. It will just go through these two, it will not match. If it comes to this third one, it will match and it will print out the value. So it just a kind of a decision maker. Okay, it's just kind of a decision maker. It makes decision out there. So that's what, literally that's what it does. Okay, so this what our code should be doing. So let's just write a simple code. Okay, um cargo run. So let me just pull up my terminal so you can see what this is here. So it's, the secret number is 20. So it's saying I should please impute a guess. So let's impute 6 as a guess. It's saying that this guess, your guess is 6, and it's writing that it is too small. So now this compared, this 20 compared this the comparison here was that this compare took my guess, which is 6, and compare it with the random number that was generated by our range. Okay, it compared it with it and came out with the fact that it is less than our comparison. And what this match does is that it takes what this comparison gave to it and starts going through this pattern to check which of them matches what was given to him. If one or any of them matches, it will just print out, and there's no how any of them will not match. So that's basically what this thing does. Okay, that's basically what this does. So we want to refactor this code small. First of all, we want to be able to guess multiple times. Okay, not just guessing once and that's big. We want to be able to guess multiple times, and to do that we have to loop through this. Okay, you just have to loop through this. So what you do is just to, let me just copy this. Just want to find where it is in this and as you can see, it's a short number. Let me go slow. Go to X, and what I want to write is loop. I want to loop through this so I can guess multiple times. It can have multiple guesses at a time. So instead of throwing us out of the game, can be able to continue to guess. So let me just run this. So input your guess 5. So it's too small. It's also saying that you input our guess, which it didn't do in the first time. 3 is too small. Input your guess. So it's using the random number that was generated first to guess. We are guessing to know whether it will impute we will get the correct answer or not. Okay, that's what we are doing with this loop. Okay, that's basically what we want to do. And so if you now if you put maybe a word that is not this, it will kick us out. Okay, it will kick us out. So you want to avoid that. You want to make sure that even if you put a non number, we will still continue to guess. Okay, if we mistakenly put an invalid input, sorry, it will still guess. And so to do that, what we do is that we go to our this. Okay, we go to our expected. Okay, to handle the invalid error, we go to this guess, and we convert this and write our actual result. Okay, for us to print out what we are looking for. So this is what we write, and we put this match here. So match here is the decision maker that will compare our result with the variance. Okay, so the result is what this dot pass brings out is what it returns, and this result have variance, which is okay and error. So you just write it okay, and this okay has this is none and is equal to none. So this is what it returns, and the error will be this. So remember, what we want to do is to be able to avert we writing any non-number and it will just kick us out like that. Okay, we want to stop it, so we just do error so continue. So what it will do is just to continue our code. So this is it. So let's just run this again. So what this thing will do is just to continue our code, even if we input anything too small. So let's try something that's not. It still tells us to this guess is asked. It is please input a guess. So you see, we are still telling us to please we should input a guess, which makes sense that instead of pulling us out from the whole code entirely. Okay, and also at the last tweak for this, maybe not the last, we want to make sure that now, since what we've achieved so far is that we can be able to write this code both putting a non-number and it will not kick us out. Okay, we've been able to what's it called, we've been able to manipulate the loop that you can continue to guess till you get the correct answer. Okay, so I think we've not done that. Hey, let's do it. Should we? Yeah, we should do it. So we want to be able to be kicked out. So if you get the answer correctly, you'll be kicked out of the game instead of continue playing, which is really not necessary. Okay, instead of continue playing, just be kicked out of the game, and that's that for you. Instead of maybe continue, you play again, you play again, you play again. Instead of continue that, you just be kicked out because you're already getting the answer, so there is no need of actually staying to continue playing the game. Ln you and so what this um, break does is that it will kick us out of the game. It will break the loop, okay? Because this is a loop. It will break the loop once we are done with the we once we got the correct answer. So let's just do run again and just guess the right answer, because this secret number is giving us the right answer, which is 17. So if you write 17, if you write let's say 5, you put another number, let's write 17. So 17, you win, and now it kicks us out of the game because we've already won. Okay, so to make this thing much more interesting, we will remove the secret number. So this secret number will be something that we will now guess on our own, okay, to get it right. So we don't really need the secret number again. So I've removed the secret number. It will not show again. So what we need to do is just guess it on our own and try as much as possible to guess it right. And this is where the game becomes much more interesting. So welcome to guessing game. Input the a guess. So I put a guess. I don't know what is there. So it says it's too small. So let me put it's too big. So I don't know what is in that distance. So what the computer generated. So let's comment this thing. I'll comment this thing. That's why I can see what this game, what the computer generated. But I think it's much more interesting in this. Let's still add another feature on in this code. Let's add another feature. Let's add some more features. Okay. Okay. I think okay. So see what will happen, guys. We will not add any more features on this. I will do this feature, or I'll add more feature on this in a live section. Okay, our next live section is when I will add features on this. So when I mean the next live section is my second live section. Okay, I'll add features on the I'll add extra features on this. So this link will be available on the GitHub so that you can actually follow along in the live section. Okay, so I'll add more features on this, and maybe just maybe recap one or two stuff for us, and basically that's it. So maybe features like, no, let me not spoil the surprise. Let me not spoil the surprise. So I'll add more features on this. And also, if you can add features on this, please do where to. Okay, do where to, and share with me. Share your code with me. Okay, I will really appreciate that. Okay, to see what you've done, and also do where to join in the live session and share your code with me. So I also know how far you've gone and know how to help you if there is any need for that. And so that's this it, guys. This it on this code. So basically what we are able to do is, first of all, we are able to generate the user to be to put his input, a player to put his input, and we are able to get the computer, our program, to generate a random number, and we are able to compare this random number using cmp and match. Okay, and get an output. And so also we are able to make sure that it's also continue asking us to get the right number correct. If you get the right number correct, it will just stop the program entirely. Okay, and also we we actually handle the error of not actually what's it called, not actually when we write a non-value, a non-number value, it will not kick us out. It can prompt us to continue. I think one of the things I didn't explain here is this. So this okay, this is an okay, and this is this. So what this match does here is the same thing it does here. Okay, so this is an arm, this is the first arm, and this is the second arm. So this is the first arm in this match, this is the second arm, this is the third arm, which is other equal to. So now this have returned a number. Okay, a guess number. Okay, and now what we actually did here is to make sure that no matter what was guessed, even if you put an invalid number, it will not push you out of the game. It will not tell you um um you don't need to play this game again, you are not interested or something like that. It will not tell you that. So what this does is that it says that if the number, if it's a number, print okay. If it's not a number, if there is no number found, throw an error. Okay, okay, so this match is checking the number that is here. So it will go through this. If it's a number, it will print. So if you input, let's say you input a non-number, it will take the non-number. This match will take the non-number and go through this arm and check it. It doesn't match. It will come here and check this. It doesn't match. Meanwhile, this should throw an error. Okay, this should throw an error already, but the ask, this underscore here, it's is it was gives room for us to continue um being asked to put a guess without kicking us out. Okay, that's basically what this piece of error does. So I'm trying to break it down in a nutshell. Okay, what it does, so that you know um maybe come and maybe be overthinking about it. Okay, it's called a cashier. Okay, cashier value. Okay, that's what this is called. Okay, that's what it's called. So it helps you maneuver that error. So instead of this thing not to um there is an error already. Okay, the what we are holding here is should be an error because it's not matching this, is matching this, but the content here is really is not matching this. Okay, and it's not matching this, but it's an error. So instead of staying, what it should just do is to continue the process, to just print out this continue. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay, Uh, but if you have any question, gather your questions. Okay, in our second live section we'll be talking about this, and also we just add more features to it and play around it a little bit. That's basically what we'll be doing in our next live session, the second live session. In our first live session, what we'll be talking about is just an a conversation around what trust is and the concept behind trust and what is true and what is not true. Okay, having said that, guys, we've actually done a very big job. If you follow from the beginning to now, congratulations to you. You have built an amazing project. And in our coming videos, tutorials, we will actually explain the concept we talked about here more detailedly. Okay, so as much as possible, as you're following, as you'll be following in the upcoming tutorials, I will indulge you to also go back to this project and also be looking at it small. um I know that it doesn't make much sense now, some it makes, but I try as much as possible to actually explain what this is and what is not. And if it doesn't make sense to you, it's fine. Okay, it's perfectly fine. Just go along and make sure you arrive at this point we arrived at. Okay, if you arrived at this point, congratulations. What you just did is to build your first project in Rust programming language, and as you can see, it's not difficult. It's not something to it's not that hectic. Okay, I mean, building your first project is not that hectic. And as we build this project, that's how it will continue to be. We keep exploring Rust and use it to build amazing projects in blockchain technology. Okay, having said that, guys, see you guys in my next video. Do as much as possible. If you got value in this video, like, subscribe, share with friends. Okay, invite friends to join this our community. Let's make web3 what it should be. Okay, see you guys in my next video. Have a wonderful coding experience. Please do well to go further to challenge yourself in this course. Okay, add features to it, think about a feature, add feature to this, and share with me. Okay, share with me. Okay, you can do a pull on GitHub and just share with me. I need it. I need your code. I need to see what you've done. I want to see the amazing stuff you did. Okay, the feature you added to this. Okay, see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.